All right, here we go. Today we have Detroit rapper Dank Demoss. Dank Demoss went viral earlier this year after a Lyft driver refused to give her a ride due to her size. She's currently suing Lyft for discrimination. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you went viral recently, but you have an interesting story. You grew up in Detroit. Now, you had two brothers?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and from what I understand, your brothers are actually really skinny.
Yeah, my brothers are my brothers are fit, but they're not like my size. They're not like obese. One of my brothers is a police officer, and my other brother, he has a career too, but yeah, they're not big like me.
What about your parents?
My dad was a bigger guy. My mom was a bigger woman, but she lost weight and she's able to maintain her weight. So yeah, my dad was the biggest in our family.
Okay, and you were 532 pounds in high school?
Yeah, my senior year, yes.
Well, but at one point you dropped a bunch of weight. You went down to 300?
No, I went down to 432.
432?
432.
Okay, so 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I guess at one point your dad passed away and that kind of caused you to gain weight again?
He did, yep.
How old was he?
My dad was 39 when he died.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was pretty young. He was young.
That's very young. I'm 51, so.
Yeah.
39 is, what did he pass away from?
He had a heart attack.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
That must have been tough. How old were you at the time?
I was 20 years old. I had just turned 20 like a couple months before he died.
Okay, and he was a music guy as well.
He was.
Yeah, he had a label, FSD Records. Okay, so after he passed away, you started rapping more seriously?
I did, yeah.
Okay, and how did that go in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was something to help me, like, it was like a distraction in the beginning, a distraction from my dad passing. So, I already really wanted to do it, like, before he had died, but I feel like it was pretty good for me. You know, I was finding my groove and stuff. It was helpful.
Okay, now, last year you were on Deb Antony's show, Deb's House. Yeah, I know Deb from way back. Great lady. How do you think that went?
I feel like it went well as far as, like, more publicity than I already had. I feel like it was a good experience for me. It was an okay experience.
Well, I guess there was a viral clip where you were getting upset.
Yeah.
What was that over?
It was because I felt like I was placed in a difficult situation. They took us to a store where everybody knew I couldn't fit anything in there, you know, so I was trying to stay tough because I didn't want the world to see me how they saw me, but it kind of happened that way. And it was frustrating for me because, you know, like, behind the scenes, you on your feet all day, and that was kind of new for me. I was on my feet for like 30 minutes and stuff like that. And before I came, my team had told them, like, make sure it's a chair on standby just in case, you know. That never happened. So I was kind of frustrated at that time. I was at my breaking point. I was getting yelled at for finally finding something that I felt looked nice on me, and it was like, you're not a boss, you know. So my feelings was hurt a little bit, but it happened, you know. I'm human. I'm glad that the world could see that I am human, you know, but that happened. I was just put in a difficult situation, you know.
Yeah, and you ultimately got sent home.
I did.
Okay, so this year there was a situation with Lyft. So where were you at the time?
I was at home.
Okay, and you were heading to where?
My cousin's watch party for the Lions football game.
Okay, so you called a regular Lyft.
Yes.
And the guy showed up. And we'll go ahead and play the video that you have on your Instagram that kind of showed the whole back and forth.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What? For what? What you saying?
Yeah, I got no space in my car is small.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me. So, I'm sorry.
What I'm gonna do about my money?
I'm gonna cancel you. You're not gonna be charged.
So you telling me I can't get in the Lyft because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you need to order a bigger car.
What makes you think I can't fit in a car?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What makes you think I can't fit in this car?
Because the car is small in the back.
My best friend has a Benz that's newer than this that I can fit in. That's the same size.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't.
So you really telling me I'm too big to get in your car, so I gotta order another Lyft?
Yeah. And to be more specific with you, I got very tired tires.
What I got to do with your tires?
Yeah, and you have no space.
How you know I don't have no space?
Yeah, I got no space in the back. Believe me.
How do you know I don't have no space?
Because I tried before.
Huh?
Because I've been in this situation.
So every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL, it's called.
No, I don't never have to order an Uber XL.
Then I'm really sorry.
What's your name?
Abraham Carter.
Okay. Nope.
The guy was basically saying that he didn't have room in the back and he was worried about his car getting damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you start recording him at that point?
Because that's what I do. I record my life. I'm a vlogger. I vlog.
Mm-hmm.
I make mini vlogs on Instagram, you know. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I record everything. But in that moment, I couldn't believe that it was happening to me, you know? So I'm like, dang, really? This is what we really doing? Like, this is real? So I'm like, okay, you know what? I put my phone out because I wanted to show people, like, this is really happening to people like me, you know? And that happened. I didn't expect it to blow up or go viral. One day I just woke up doing my little videos, my little TikTok videos, and I started seeing me everywhere. You know, I was just like, dang, I'm going viral. And sure enough, it was that video. So that's how that happened.
Now, the guy wasn't really being mean, though. I feel like he was trying to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, hey, I'll refund, I'll cancel the ride. I think he offered to Cash App you the money and so forth.
No, he didn't offer me to.
He didn't say Cash App?
Yeah, he didn't offer me no money.
Okay.
His offer was cancel it and call another ride.
Call another car.
You know, but.
Right. So then you post it and it starts to go viral.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you tag Lyft in your post and Lyft actually responds.
They did.
They said, please know that we don't condone discrimination of any kind, and we're really committed to making things right for you. Please reach out to us directly so we can investigate this matter further, ensure it is addressed appropriately, and as soon as possible. We're looking forward to hearing from you soon. They also said, we're disheartened to look at this driver's unacceptable behavior. Please DM us your earliest convenience for additional support. We'd like to address this as soon as possible. So did you speak directly to Lyft after that?
I never spoke to them.
Okay, because they're asking you to basically DM them.
Yeah, but I never spoke to them.
Okay, but then you went and got some lawyers.
I did.
Okay, so did you go to multiple lawyers, or this first lawyer that you reached out to, they took on the case?
I reached out to one law firm, and I don't remember what that was, and they couldn't help me, so they referred me to the lawyers that I have now, and it worked out.
Okay, so did you officially file a lawsuit, or did you negotiate with Lyft at that point?
I filed.
Okay, so you filed a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that lawsuit ongoing?
Yes.
Okay. How much are you asking for?
I'm not asking for anything right now. It's still ongoing.
Right, but I mean, a civil lawsuit has a dollar amount to it.
Mm-hmm,
right?
But I'm not talking about that. I'm not asking,
Okay, fair enough. But you are suing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's ongoing, that means that you guys haven't settled and so forth. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit. Now, the driver, was he basically banned from using Lyft after that?
I don't know what happened to the driver. I'm pretty sure he still has his job because I didn't reach out to Lyft. I didn't tell on the driver. So a lot of people were saying you got him fired and stuff like that. And that's not the case. That's people making stuff up. So, I don't know what happened to him. I hope that he is still doing what he was doing before he met me. I wish nothing but the best for him,
Okay. I actually looked it up, and I guess the driver is still working for Lyft.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing.
He is.
I guess the question I'm asking is this. Like, when you work for Lyft or Uber or Postmates or whatever else, you are an independent contractor. You're not actually an employee of Lyft. So as an independent contractor, Lyft is not responsible for what it is that you do. It's not like Lyft turned you down. This driver turned you down. Lyft had nothing to do with this particular situation. So why are you suing Lyft and not the driver?
Because they allowed him to drive for them in their services.
They allow everyone to drive who has a proper car and a driver's license.
Yeah, but as you see, his car, I don't know, he was complaining. He was complaining about everything. So he was complaining about me. He was complaining about his car. So,
Right, but Lyft is not complaining. Lyft is actually on your side and is going to make it right according to these messages. And they had nothing to do with this. Like, for example, I have employees. Now, if I have an employee and my employee does something, then I'm responsible for it. But if I have an independent contractor that's just doing stuff for Vlad TV and they do something crazy, that's really out of my hands. Mm-hmm. They are on their own. Mm-hmm. So it seems to me that you should be suing the driver and not Lyft, because I don't know what Lyft really has to do with it. Now, they may settle based on bad publicity and so forth, but to me, it doesn't really appear like Lyft is really responsible for your situation. I'm not happy about your situation. I think it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I just feel like this is a driver problem, not a Lyft problem.
Thank you for your support and opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Now, with the whole car situation, I mean, this was what, like a Mercedes 250 or something like that, like a relatively small Mercedes?
What was it? It was a Benz. It was, yeah.
Right, but it wasn't like a G-Wagon or an SUV or anything else like that. Now, the driver seemed actually concerned that, that something might happen to his car. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, this is not, when you look at this Lyft driver, this is not like this is not like Lyft Black, which has like the high-end cars and everything else like that. It's Uber Black. I guess Lyft has probably something similar. Mm-hmm. So it's not a huge car. This guy is not rich. He has a relatively entry-level car. He's probably scraping by. And from what I saw, from his point of view, I think he was actually concerned about something potentially happening to his car. Mm-hmm. Can you see his side of the story as well?
I see my side, because if it was like 5 girls that added up to my weight, he would still allow them in his car, and I didn't reach the car's capacity.
Well, probably not 5 girls. It's a small Benz. 3 girls, maybe 4.
I don't know, like 4 and 1 in the front seat.
1 in the front
5.
seat, maybe 3 in the back, so 4.
Yeah, I feel like 4 in the back, 1 in the front.
Yeah. Right, but when the weight is at one side, that potentially could damage the car. I'm just, I like to just address both sides, because from his point of view, it didn't seem like he was trying to be mean. He wasn't calling you names. He wasn't, insulting you. I think he was concerned about, if you're driving Lyft, that means that you don't really have a lot of money and you're, driving on the side in order to, make some extra money to pay your bills and so forth. I think it's fair to look at both sides of the situation. You see what I'm saying? Like you're here, you're telling your side. He's not here to tell his side. So I'm trying to keep a balanced conversation. Mm-hmm. And at the end, what I feel is, I think he was concerned because he has a little side gig, that his side gig might get affected, because if something does, and this is what I'm saying between employee and contractor. If he was an employee for Lyft, then Lyft would own that car. So if something happened, he would go to Lyft and say, hey, listen, I have a problem with my car, go fix it. Like, for example, if you work for a taxi company or so forth. But with Lyft, you own your own car. Mm-hmm. If you're taking someone on a ride, and let's just say the person smashes out your window, Lyft has nothing to do with this. Mm-hmm. That's on you. So, I feel like, on his side, that he actually, I think he was just trying to protect his own business at that time. Now, unfortunately, I don't like the way it turned out, but I think that I don't think there's any sort of bad intentions on his end.
Okay. Nobody is used to big people being out. You have to be prepared for us as well. It's probably not normal to the world to see people like me, doing things, requesting lifts and, and stuff like that. So I just feel like people need to prepare for us and, expect us. We here.
Listen, I think it's great that you're out. And I think you're very brave for what you're doing and putting yourself out there. I saw you on The Breakfast Club. I've seen you perform, you put out music. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And I think you're setting an example for a lot of people because not everybody weighs 90 pounds. You know what I'm saying? When you look throughout the world, people have all different, weights and so forth. I think a lot of people admire you, and I think you're going to influence a lot of people to get out the house and do more things, and girls to do their makeup and their hair and get fly and put on some buffs and everything else like that because you're from Detroit. But at the end of the day, you have those rights, but you also have to work around other people's situations as well. Like, so for example, when you fly, certain airlines give you an extra seat.
I fly Southwest. They give me a free seat. They give anybody my size a free extra seat.
Okay. And Delta as well?
The last time I drove Delta, I drove first class and I had my own seat and I was fine. Okay. I didn't need an extra seat.
Okay. Yeah, well, first class is, yeah.
Yeah.
So from your point of view, do you think it's fair that an airline gives you an extra seat that you ultimately didn't pay for? Or should they be charging you for that extra seat?
I feel like it's fair.
Why is that?
It just is. Like, if that's them, if they want to give their customers a free seat because of how big they are, then thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I think it's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
But you could look at it both ways. You could look at it as, well, it's a full flight and they could have sold that seat to someone else, but ultimately they give you a free seat. And I think they're doing it to send a positive message. But from a business point of view, they're ultimately losing a little bit of money as well.
That's them. That's what they want to do. I'm pretty sure they can regulate if they have like a full flight, So, yeah.
Well, you've actually compared weight to gay rights and so forth.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I was basically just saying, like, how it would be like the restroom thing.
What do you mean?
Like, trans women could come in our bathroom type stuff, which is not bad,
So you're supportive of that?
Yeah, I support anybody. I have family members that's trans. I used to be gay, so I have nothing against the LGBTQ community because I used to be there. So, but it wasn't to offend anybody, I was just, but we all need to be treated like equally,
I agree.
So
I agree.
That's that.
Now, you actually want to get surgery, I guess, to get your weight down. It's a gastric sleeve or a gastric bypass.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a friend, Big Boy, who's on the radio in LA. He was, I think similar to your size. And basically the doctor told him that he needs to get this gastric operation if he wants to keep living. And he got that. Now he's really skinny. And now I believe he's in his 50s and so forth. You're planning to get this operation?
Yeah, one day.
Okay. But I guess you have to get down to 300 pounds in order to do it?
Like 470.
470?
Yeah.
And how much do you weigh now?
I weigh 517.
Okay. Dave Bluntz.
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed him recently.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on tour, but he had to stop his tour because of health reasons. He kept ending up in the hospital and so forth. I actually checked up on him the other day just to make sure he's okay. And he hit me back and said, yeah, bro, I'm good. And you see that type of situation. Now, aesthetically, people could present themselves how they want, but health-wise, there are definitely concerns when you're heavy. You told me your dad died at 39 years old. That's tragic. That's really sad. My dad lived to 84. I was lucky enough to have my dad longer than you. And I'm sure that, you're somewhat sad not getting to kind of experience some of the stuff with your dad right now. Do you worry? I mean, there's, of course, the visual part, but do you worry in terms of your health? Because as you get older, your body does have a harder time dealing with weight.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at people, you rarely see a 70-year-old who's overweight. Usually people who, last to an older age, they're usually, relatively skinny. You're in a situation, I'm sure you love life. Do you worry that if you don't lose weight, and if you don't get an operation, that you potentially, aren't going to live as long as you would like?
I do. Like I said, my dad died at 39. He had a heart attack. He was a bigger guy. So I think about that a lot. I am taking like steps to get where I want to be. As far as right now, I don't have any like health issues, but I know that it's possible. It's possible for anybody to go through things with their health, but
right, because you're 29 now. About that,
yeah,
give or take. I mean, you're young.
Yeah,
you're young, and when you're young, your body can snap back from a lot of things. But as you get older, I'm 51. Things start to change. You don't heal as quickly. There's problems that start to persist, and so forth. So now, you tried Ozempic?
I did.
Right. Like, I tried Ozempic myself. I tried it for a few months, and I just didn't like it at the end of the day. What's been your experience on it?
My stomach was hurting, my head was hurting, but I'm not doing Ozempic anymore. I'm doing semaglutide.
Is that similar?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like less side effects, but it works.
Yeah, when I was on Ozempic, I mean, I lost some weight, but I just felt constipated all the time.
Yeah.
Like for like a week.
Yeah.
And then I'd be in the bathroom all day. And then the next week I'd have to go through that whole process again. And I think the way it works is that because you feel sort of constipated and a little bit sick, you don't really want to eat. So you're not really hungry. Food just sort of like whatever. So you end up not eating, and you do lose weight, but you lose a quality of life as you're doing it. Is that pretty much what you experienced?
No, not for real. It's sometimes like when I'm motivated, it's like I tell myself it's a mind thing. I'm really not hungry, but I was getting full. But yeah, that wasn't my experience.
Okay. Now
I was still happy.
With this new thing that you're taking, what's it called?
Semaglutide.
Semaglutide.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and Ozempic?
Less side effects.
So you just feel fine all the time?
Yeah.
But you
I feel okay.
But you stopped taking it, or are you still taking it?
I still take it.
Okay. How much weight have you lost on it?
I was 585. I'm 517 right now.
Okay.
You do the math,
Yeah. That's about 70 pounds, 60 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you plan to stay on it, or?
When I get somewhere I want to be, then I'll stop.
Yeah. I mean, I know during the pandemic, I was about 20 pounds heavier. And I was seeing like everyone I knew that was dying from COVID each one of them were overweight, right? My man, DJ K-Slay died. Fred the Godson died. Other people I didn't personally know, had died. So I said, okay, I got to lose weight because if I catch COVID, I might potentially die. So I did a lot of research, and the one thing that I found that absolutely worked was counting calories. So what I realized is that no matter how yes, everyone's built a little bit differently and everyone has different metabolisms, but the one thing that holds true is that there's a certain number of calories that if you eat, for me, it's 2,000 calories, right? If I eat 2,000 calories every day, I will maintain my exact same weight. But if I go under 2,000 calories, then I started losing weight every single day. And I use an app called MyFitnessPal that actually, I punch in all the food that I'm eating, and it actually calculates the calories right then and there. It even has a barcode reader, so if I'm eating something that's like packaged, I could just scan the barcode and it'll say exactly what the calories are. So every day I started just basically writing down everything I eat, and I lost more weight than I ever did in my entire life. Have you ever considered something like this? Are you familiar with this concept?
I've used FitnessPal.
Oh, so you used it?
I've used that before, like my senior year.
Okay.
After that, but I don't use it anymore.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass to have to write down everything that you eat, but I feel like after doing that for maybe 6 months, I kind of understand the calories that are attached to different types of foods. So I know in my head, okay, today I went over my calories. I'm probably going to gain weight when I weigh myself tomorrow. I also have a scale called a Withing scale that's tied into my phone. So whenever I weigh myself, it goes into my phone and shows the chart of where I am. Because I realize the more I weigh myself, the more I'm conscious of my weight and the food intake. And therefore, it allows me to sort of slow down when I know that I'm going to go over. Now, do you feel like, because I think we all suffer from eating to a certain degree. Like I love to eat. I'm a foodie. I eat out every single day. Do you feel like it's psychological with you that you just, you're addicted to food to a certain type of degree, or because that's what happened to me?
No, I've never been addicted to food, and I've never felt like I was addicted to food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why do you think that you fluctuate in weight over the years?
I don't know. A lot of times when I gain weight, I don't know that I'm gaining weight. So, I don't know.
Now, you have a thyroid issue?
Yeah, I do. It runs in my family. My
Okay.
brother was born without one. My grandma, has problems with her thyroid.
Now, I'm not familiar with this. What exactly is a thyroid issue?
The thyroid controls like all the major organs in your body. It could control your metabolism. It could be, in my case, it's my metabolism.
So you have a slow metabolism because of the thyroid issue.
Yeah.
Now, is this something that can be fixed through pills or an operation or anything else like that?
You could take pills.
Have you?
I have.
Did it make a difference?
It did.
So what happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
So explain to me the process when you actually have a thyroid issue, because I think a lot of people do go through this. And a lot of people like myself just assume that, okay, you're a certain type of weight because you eat a certain amount of food. But in your case, it's not actually like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens with the thyroid issue over time?
I would take it to regulate it, and then if I go back for my checkup, if it's normal, they'll take me off of it. So it goes up and down.
Gotcha. And also your name, Dank Demoss. How do you come up with that?
My mom came up with Dank. She didn't know what Dank meant, but my name is Deja.
Huh.
So yeah, I guess she was just saying stuff and named me Dank.
Okay, like where I grew up in the Bay, Dank means weed.
Yeah.
Is that what it means in Detroit also?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you a weed smoker?
No, I used to be, but I don't smoke no more.
Okay. And the Demoss part?
That's my dad's last name.
That's your dad's last name? Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. You did OnlyFans a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So were you fully nude during that?
I still have OnlyFans.
Oh, you still have it?
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of fans?
I got a few.
Yeah? Did it jump up after the whole Lyft incident?
It did, because somebody tried to expose me.
Okay. Do you plan on kind of going forward with that and kind of expanding that, or is that just like a little side thing?
It's a side thing,
Gotcha.
It's not my career, but it's just something on the side.
So what is your main focus right now?
My main focus is my career.
The music?
Me as an artist, expanding my brand, taking care of my family.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
No.
Do you plan on it?
Yeah, one day.
Yeah? Well, you mentioned earlier you were a lesbian at one point and now you're heterosexual?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What made you switch and so forth?
I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of just something to do for me. I don't know if I was really attracted to women for real. It was just something to do. Maybe I felt like I couldn't get a boyfriend when I was younger. I just started liking girls. Girls was easy. Yeah, but I love men though. I love men. Yeah, but like I said, I don't have nothing against it. I used to be,
Yeah. Have you had
It was just
long-term?
like a switch. It was just like why am
Switch.
I doing this?
Yeah. Have you been in long-term relationships?
Yeah, with a woman, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you hope to get married, have kids, and so forth and so
I
forth?
do.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm sure you have a few guys sliding into your DMs after all this.
Before and after.
Before and after?
Really?
Well, I'm sure after was a little more just because of all the publicity.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you like to say the F word because you don't like to use the word fat. Explain why that is.
Fat, PH, fat. But I don't like to say the F word because growing up, I was always big. I was the biggest in the house, me and my dad. So that F word, it was like, we don't say this in this house because I would go home and get called fat. I mean, not go home. I would be at school. Excuse me. I would be at school and be called fat. And to go home and be in that same environment, that probably would have been horrible. So my parents banned that word, and my family banned the word as well. My family, like my outside family, they don't say the F word either. You know, we would be like PH fat, but we don't say the F word.
Family loves you. They don't want you to go through it.
They love me a lot.
You actually have some acting stuff coming up.
I do.
What is it?
I can't really speak on it, but it's a big role. It's major, major people in it.
Okay. What type of character do you play?
She's quiet. She's talented. That's all I can say for now.
Okay. And you have new music coming out?
I do.
Okay. Are you working with anybody?
No. Have I worked with anybody?
Or are you working with anybody on the new music?
No, not at the moment. I plan to though.
Okay. I mean, Detroit has a lot of talented rappers out there.
Yeah, they do.
Well, Dank Demoss, I appreciate your bravery. I think that you're right. You don't see a lot of people like yourself, especially women who really put themselves out there. I feel like on the male side, men who are overweight flaunt it, and you see people like Biggie, and before him was like Heavy D, and you see like Big X the Plug and so forth, and they kind of flaunt their weight and they use it as almost their thing. But with women, I feel like women kind of get a hard time over it. So for example, like I was saying this on my show a lot, everyone was bashing Lizzo, when she was heavier. But at the same time, DJ Khaled is running around with his shirt off, and he's actually bigger than Lizzo. And everyone's like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You can't praise DJ Khaled and bash Lizzo. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to be consistent, but I feel like in the society, it's not consistent, and women get a harder time when it comes to weight, and men sometimes get praised for it. Does that bother you at all?
Yeah, it do. I spoke on that before.
Yeah.
Because I see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ain't really too much I can do about it, but be me and, make my way and bogart my way through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Well, you're doing it though.
Thank you.
You're putting yourself out there. You're doing interviews. You come in looking fly. You got your Rolex on, got your chain on, got your buffs on, got your Gucci sneakers on. I dig it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got your confidence. And I think that there's a lot of girls who are watching this right now saying, wow, I actually can do this. Here's an example of someone who's actually doing it, who's confident, who's putting themselves out there, who's dealing with the hate. And listen, we all deal with hate. I got a bunch of haters, but at the end of the day, you also have a lot of fans. So I admire what you're doing. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. That's what it is. Peace.